Earlier this evening, I asked Eliza to pay particular attention to my facial expression and to tell me, frankly, what I looked like. The expression was, She said at once that I looked like I had indigestion. She was not quite right, as it is wistful melancholy. I changed the expression and advised her to try again and to take a little more time about her decision. She asked if it was the same one as before. My dear Eliza, I said, that is simply thoughtless. I told you I was going to change the expression. You must know what the word change means. That last one was suppressed rage. I've been studying Mrs. Bewley's home reciter. Each illustration has a different expression. All you have to do is to study the expression and match it with the illustration. I'd spent the last 20 minutes on studying 3 of them. They are wistful melancholy, suppressed rage, adoration. Difficult. Yet Eliza fails to recognize any of them. I don't know what's the matter with her. She says she doesn't know why on earth I'm doing it. Here at last was an opportunity to surprise her. Because I've been asked to give a recitation in public, I said. My little surprise worked. She dropped a teacup and broke it. It was the best said. She said I ought not to go saying things like that to her suddenly. You, did refuse to take part, she said. Sometimes it seems her one aim in life is to annoy me. With neck out thrust, you fancy how. Legs wide, arms locked behind, as if to balance the prone brow, oppressive with its mine. Eliza? With neck out thrust, you fancy how. Legs wide, arms locked. Time, I think, to announce the details of my first theatrical engagement. Parker, I will not be at home for supper this evening. I'm to speak at a smoking concert to be given at the Borstal Rooms, Drury Lane, at 7 p.m. It's in aid of the widow of Herbert Benjerdale, a man who died while orchid hunting in British Guiana. The chair is to be taken by a Mr. Parkhurst, who has, I believe, a large place on the Isle of Wight. Mr. Cobbold from the office has asked me. When I mentioned it to Eliza, she remembered immediately who Cobbold was. It's true that Cobbold is due to leave soon, due to a report which I felt it my duty to make. He would insist on playing the fool in the office and would not take a warning, but he bears me no malice. He said I was only doing my duty, and he may live to be thankful to me. He's doing a couple of comic songs himself at the concert. He wanted a serious reciter as a contrast, and looking over all the men he knew, he picked upon me. With neck out thrust, you fancy how. Legs wide, arms locked behind, as if to balance the prone brow, oppressive with its mind. Cobbold told me that the concert would be easy to find, but I walked all the way down Drury Lane and I couldn't find a concert anywhere. Then I asked a policeman. He didn't know the whereabouts of the Borstal rooms. Then I took a cab, and even the cabman had never heard of the place. I was completely at a loss. There was nothing else I could do, so I came home. And I can tell you, I was pretty furious. When I told Eliza, she said the whole thing was a con. Cobbold had done it to pay me back for getting him the sack, as she put it. She'd had her suspicions of it all along, apparently. She said I could get my own back at him at work today. The difficulty was that yesterday was Cobble's last day at the office. And then Parker came in with this letter. It was from Cobbold, as civil as could be. So sorry that you were unable to be with us at the Dartmoor Assembly Hall, Piccadilly. Presume that the cause was some indisposition, and hope it may prove trifling. You were much missed. Mr. Parkhurst had hoped to ask you down to his place on the Isle of Wight. Eliza, in her obvious way, pointed out that Borstal is the name of a penal settlement near Rochester, and that Parkhurst is the name of another on the Isle of Wight, and that Dartmoor speaks for itself. But these coincidences do occur. After all, you see them every day. It does seem a mite queer that there is no such place as the Dartmoor Assembly Halls, Piccadilly. But, that may be simply Cobble's carelessness. There is one thing, though, of which I'm quite certain. I am not the sort of man who puts his hand to the plough and then throws up the sponge. I've spent time and money on this recitation, and I mean to recite it. And if Eliza does not lead up to it one afternoon, when Miss Sakers is here, I shall lead up to it myself. And if they do not like it, they can lump it.
There's a final slice of life with Ernest and Eliza tomorrow at the earlier time of 5:50 here on BBC Two.
With neck out thrust, you fancy how, legs wide, arms locked behind, as if to balance the prone brow, oppressive width. It's mine.
Dragnall, you're mad, you know that?